Have you ever felt surrounded by fire, like life itself was trying to burn you down? Imagine being thrown into flames so hot that even those who pushed you inside were consumed instantly, and yet, walking out untouched. This is not a legend, not a fairy tale. This is the story of 3 men and an angel who appeared in the middle of fire. Welcome to Divine War Stories, the place where we uncover the hidden battles between heaven and earth, where the unseen hand of God moves in the most unexpected ways. If you've ever wondered how faith collides with impossible moments, you're in the right place. Stay with me, because today we're diving into one of the most powerful angelic interventions ever recorded, the angel in the fiery furnace. The story begins in the heart of Babylon, under the rule of King Nebuchadnezzar, a ruler who demanded loyalty in the form of worship to a massive golden statue. The order was clear. When the sound of music filled the air, every person, no matter their rank, had to bow down and worship the idol. Those who dared to resist faced one punishment: being thrown into a blazing furnace, a death so terrifying it silenced even the bravest souls. Yet among the crowd were 3 young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who stood firm, refusing to bend their knees to a false god, even while everyone else bowed low to the ground. Think about this moment. Imagine being surrounded by thousands, all falling to their knees, while you remained standing, a single figure of resistance. The pressure to conform wasn't just social, it was life and death. These young men were foreigners, captives in a strange land, already marked as different. It would have been easy to rationalize a small bow, just to survive another day. But for them, survival without integrity wasn't survival at all. They knew their lives were in God's hands, not Nebuchadnezzar's. When word reached the king that 3 men dared to defy his command, rage boiled within him. Nebuchadnezzar summoned them, and his voice thundered with fury as he gave them one last chance: bow to the statue, or face the furnace. Yet, their answer was calm, steady, unshaken. They declared, "Our God is able to deliver us from the blazing furnace. But even if he does not, we will not serve your gods." That phrase, "even if he does not," echoes through time. It wasn't just about rescue. It was about allegiance, faith that stood firm whether God saved them or not. The king's face twisted with anger. His pride couldn't tolerate defiance, especially not from captives. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual, so fierce that the heat killed the soldiers who carried out the command. Picture the scene: the air trembling with heat, flames roaring like a living beast, while the 3 men, bound and helpless, were thrown into the fire. For everyone watching, this was the end of their story. Their faith had led them straight into death. But something happened in the fire that no one expected. Instead of screams, there was silence. Instead of ashes, there was life. As Nebuchadnezzar peered into the furnace, his eyes widened in shock. He turned to his advisors and asked, "Didn't we throw 3 men into the fire?" They nodded. And then came the words that would be remembered forever: "Look, I see 4 men, walking freely, unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods." Imagine standing there, watching with your own eyes what was impossible. The ropes that bound them were burned away, but not a single hair on their heads was touched by the flames. Their clothes didn't even smell of smoke. And walking among them was a radiant figure, shining with a presence that terrified and awed everyone around. This wasn't just survival, it was divine intervention, heaven stepping into the fire to stand with them. The angel in the furnace wasn't just a rescuer, he was a declaration, a visible sign that those who stand with God are never truly alone. In the fire, the impossible became possible. In the flames, the presence of heaven overpowered the power of earth. The onlookers saw not defeat, but a miracle so undeniable that even the king himself had to bow before a greater authority. Nebuchadnezzar called the men out of the furnace, and to everyone's astonishment, they emerged completely untouched. This moment didn't just save 3 lives, it shifted an empire's perspective. The king, who once demanded worship of an idol, now proclaimed that no one should speak against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. What was meant to break them became a testimony that spread across a nation. The fire that should have destroyed them became the stage for God's glory to be revealed. For anyone watching today, this story isn't just ancient history. It's a mirror of the fires you face, moments of pressure, seasons where compromise seems easier, Times when standing for what's right feels too costly. Maybe you've felt surrounded by flames of rejection, financial struggle, illness, or betrayal. The lesson of the fiery furnace is that even in the heat, you are not alone. The same God who walked with them walks with you. When you refuse to bow to fear, to doubt, or to the idols of this age, you step into a different kind of strength. The angel in the furnace reminds us that deliverance doesn't always mean escape, it often means presence. God may not always pull you out immediately, but He promises to be with you in the middle of the fire. And when you come out, you won't even smell like smoke. You'll walk out stronger, freer, and with a story that declares His power to everyone watching. If you are enjoying this video, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to help this channel reach more people. Now let's continue. As we continue deeper into this story, notice how the angel did not appear before the men were thrown into the furnace. Deliverance did not come before the trial but inside it. That's where faith shines brightest, not when everything is safe and predictable, but when the heat is unbearable and the outcome uncertain. In that fire, God's presence turned terror into testimony. What looked like the end became the beginning of a miracle, and this detail is important for anyone listening right now who feels abandoned in their struggle. Think about how many people were watching that day. A massive crowd had gathered to witness the punishment of the rebels. Their humiliation was supposed to be public, their suffering a warning to anyone else who might defy the king. But instead of humiliation, they witnessed vindication. Instead of fear, they saw faith rewarded. Sometimes the very people waiting to see you fall will end up witnessing your breakthrough. Your fire becomes their lesson. The furnace represents more than just a historical event. It symbolizes every trial that tests your faith to its core. It's the betrayal that crushed your heart, the sickness that shook your confidence, the loss that made you question everything. But just like in Babylon, the presence of God doesn't vanish when the fire comes, it intensifies. The angel appeared in the heat, reminding us that divine help often meets us at the point of our deepest pain. What's powerful here is that the men didn't walk out alone. They came out together, side by side, stronger for having stood together. Faith is contagious. When you surround yourself with people who refuse to bow, who choose integrity over compromise, you'll find the strength to endure even the hottest flames. Sometimes God places others in your path so that when you face your own furnace, you won't stand there by yourself. And yet, it wasn't just about them. Their survival was a message to the world around them. Faith isn't private, it shines in public moments. By standing firm, they revealed a truth greater than Babylon's power, greater than Nebuchadnezzar's rage. They showed that heaven always has the final word. And that's what your life can become, a living story that points others to something higher, even when you're just trying to survive your own fire. The angel in the furnace was not only a protector but also a symbol of Christ Himself, the one who walks with us through every trial, who doesn't leave us abandoned. For many, this story foreshadows the ultimate promise that no flame, no storm, no shadow can separate us from the love of God. The presence of that fourth figure in the fire was heaven's whisper to earth, I am with you, even here. So the question becomes, what is your furnace? Where do you feel the heat pressing against your soul? Maybe it's the pressure to compromise at work, the fear of being alone, the struggle of standing up for your values when everyone else bows down. Remember this, your fire is not the end of you. It might just be the place where God shows up most visibly, where His strength overshadows your weakness. When you come through your furnace, and you won't just carry scars. You'll carry authority. The fire won't define you, it will refine you. The same way those 3 men walked out without even the smell of smoke, you too can emerge from your trial without the stench of bitterness, without the chains that once held you. What once threatened to consume you will become the very thing that sets you free. And this is why this story has survived centuries. It's not just about survival, it's about transformation. It's a reminder that God's power isn't limited by circumstances, that angels still walk into our battles, and that faith still shifts the impossible. Whether you're standing before a furnace today or walking through flames already, let this story remind you, you're not standing there alone. The fire will not have the final word. So, as we close, hold this truth close. What should have destroyed you will one day tell your story of survival. Just as the angel in the fiery furnace turned a death sentence into a testimony, your struggle can become the stage for God's power to shine. If this story spoke to you today, make sure to share it with someone who needs to know they're not alone in their fire. And don't forget to subscribe to Divine War Stories for more powerful tales of heaven's intervention in the battles of life. Because your story, too, is being written, even in the fire.